Count them up, Broncos country, because our Denver Broncos just won their 10th game in a row, 11 wins on the season, retaking the top spot in the AFC. They have the tiebreaker with the New England Patriots, and this game is even better than you probably thought watching it on the TV copy. In this video, I'm breaking down why all the questions I had going into this game were answered with an absolute exclamation point by your Denver Broncos. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, smash that like and subscribe button as we're back at the top of the AFC. Oh, it feels so good. So right off the bat, already you're going to hear the national media. This is going to count as a one-score game, even though the Vegas Raiders have a bogus call at the end of there for a delay of game and kick a game ceiling field goal there as the clock expires. But here's the deal. The Broncos absolutely mollywopped the Vegas Raiders on the road, a team that, as you saw, has a ton of talent, a team that actually mollywopped the number 1 seed in the AFC before we just overtook them in the New England Patriots, a team that played like an extra point shy away from beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, a blocked field goal away from beating the Chicago Bears. The Vegas Raiders are a good team, and this was Pete Carroll coaching for his job, and your Broncos absolutely shut that team up and now has swept that team twice in 2 years, or 4 times in 2 years, and that is going to be what we see for the considerable future. So much about this game that is amazing. Obviously, off the jump, the Broncos now, as long as they keep the same exact record as the New England Patriots, are going to have the tiebreaker there. So if the Patriots drop one to the Bills next week, well, we can drop one to the Packers, which we're not going to. We're covering that all this next week with cool special guests coming. But that's huge, guys, that if the Broncos get the 1 seed, all we have to do is win 2 home games, and we are in the Super Bowl, back Super Bowl 60. The last time we were in Levi Stadium, we won Super Bowl 50. So just, it is playing out absolutely phenomenally. And Bo Nix had himself an absolute day, and all of the people who think Bo Nix is like a fraudulent quarterback got to see on full display that Bo Nix can do whatever you need him to do, and he played incredible today. There were just a couple of plays here in this game that just jumped off of the screen to me. I think, as we saw in that first quarter, like that first drive that took over 8 minutes, the Broncos had 3 drives that took over 8 minutes, 2 of which ended in touchdowns, and the Broncos probably could have gone for another touchdown at the end and ended up kicking a field goal there instead. But just seeing Bo's pocket presence and what he does that a lot of young quarterbacks don't do is when he feels pressure, he does not fade left or fade right, because that's where you get in trouble. He goes up the middle, and just seeing this amazing rushing touchdown for like a 13-yard scamper for Bo Nix, incredible. Just like awareness there from a really young quarterback to be able to do that, amazing. And then we just saw some plays in this game, again, that if this was Patrick Mahomes making these plays, as DNVR pointed out, Madden would have shut down all of their servers and not rebooted them until they put this play in the highlight package when you boot up Madden football. Like, he does not get the type of credit he deserves. This game was still close when he does this. This play was absolutely nasty. He does a no-look pass across the middle and just hits Courtland Sutton right in the numbers. Court's hands aren't even up because Bo Nix isn't looking at him. So the moxie and swagger that Bo Nix has, uncommon for a player of his age, and truly sometimes that cockiness, you're like, oh man, like wait till we are blowing a team out and then do that. But Bo Nix has ice water running through his veins, and we've seen it as he is leading the league in fourth quarter comebacks and driving in overtime last week against the Commanders to beat them in overtime. This guy does not get rattled and just plays with a sense of joy and camaraderie with this team that makes it so fun to be a Broncos fan. So seeing what Bo Nix has done here with, again, the biggest dead cap hit in NFL history with Russell Wilson's dead cap hit that we've been paying over these 2 years. We'll never have to mention that again after the Broncos win the Super Bowl this year, but you got to mention it right now. And even with all of that, and even with a roster that he inherited that had not been to the playoffs in the better part of a decade, Bo Nix just tied Dan Marino as the 5th most wins over their first 2 seasons. And we still got a lot of football left to play. If the Broncos run the table, he will be the most winning quarterback over his first 2 years in NFL history. He is now just 3 games behind Russell Wilson for actually tying that, and 4 games behind him for actually overtaking that. So just absolutely wild to do that with this roster. And do not let people crap on Bo Nix, because he is phenomenal, and the stats absolutely prove that out. You heard the commentators finally starting to kind of gush about him and just kind of to say what we've been saying in Broncos country since the training camp, that this dude is built different, and you've got to love it. Just even his stat line tonight, that it is his highest completion percentage of all time. and that was with some pretty massive drops. Like Troy Franklin had a drop on the sideline that he could have had. Cortland Sutton did have a catch that probably should have been an incomplete, but then he also had 2 that hit him right in the hand that he dropped. And we know that going into this game, Bo Nix had the second most drops in the entire NFL. His running wide receivers haven't always been helping him out, and even in this game he didn't. And looking 212 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and to lead 3 drives that lasted over 8 minutes. I can't tell you the last time this happened. I can't believe the game is already over and I'm recording this post game, because usually it's like we're just getting into the fourth quarter here, but the Broncos just didn't even let this thing get close. They dominated this game in every single way you could imagine. And again, his highest completion percentage he's ever thrown, and what we've seen over these past 3 weeks, like we told you we were going to see, because the Sean Payton playbook is so extensive and robust and it takes time to get there, is that he's going to get better each and every week, just like he did last season. And over these past 3 weeks, he's been a top 5 or top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And we know that with our defense, that is getting us deep in the playoffs, because he is going to just continue to get better. Massive shout out for Marvin Mims, who I think really, this was when we all knew the game was over, was that Marvin Mims had his first punt return for a touchdown, which seemed crazy to me because I feel like all this dude does is change the game by huge returns. But I guess a lot of times he'll get knocked out at like the 5 or the 10. But just seeing like the effort on this, like early in that game, the Raiders were swarming. My dad texts me and he's like, hey, these guys are, Raiders are playing chippy. I hope nobody gets hurt. And the Raiders wanted this early. They're playing for Pete Carroll's job. Like, all we've heard on the national media is how Pete Carroll's on his way out. They were playing for him in this game, and have Marvin Mims be like the more aggressive guy who wanted this more, calling out his blockers and a house call, and then ended it in the most Denver Broncos way possible, busting that mile-high salute for all of us. And man, that hit amazing. Marvin Mims, we need to see a lot more of him incorporated into this offense, and I think we will. I think Sean Payton has proven to us that like he has levels to this, and he doesn't roll everything out at once. And I think there are Marvin Mims packages that we are waiting to see until the games matter, and until it's games that, you know, Sean Payton was coaching the guys up this week to not fall for the trap game. This wasn't a game that any of us were actually concerned about, and so Sean wasn't actually going into his bag and coming up with these super innovative calls. We were just doing the bare minimum. Let's do long drives, get these guys out of here without anyone getting in a fight or getting hurt. And it was just phenomenal. Seeing that Bo Nix reminded me of Nikola Jokic in this game, where he is spreading it wherever he wanted. First half of this game, he hit 10 different receivers, and even diehard Denver Broncos fans, I don't know if you could off the bat just name 10 different pass catchers for me right now. And then I think he ended the game with 12, which was absolutely crazy to me. And again, you're seeing him do all of that amazingness with 3 really big drops in that first half, definitely. And just seeing this offense is coming along. We knew this was going to happen. We were telling all the haters, pump the brakes when you're saying the Broncos are fraudulent, because they are not fraudulent. And this offense has gotten a lot better since that mini bye that we had after that Thursday night game to beat the Chiefs. Like this 10-game winning streak, beating the Chiefs, beating the Eagles, going to London, coming back without a bye week. It's been nothing short of miraculous, and I have absolutely loved it. Massive shout out to all of Broncos country who absolutely took over Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas, that this essentially is a home game. And they're probably running Pete Carroll out of town, and so it is going to be another season at least of a rebuild, that the Broncos have this as another home stadium for at least another season, which feels absolutely phenomenal. There are a couple concerns on defense we have to talk about, but interesting note here is that as the Broncos are kind of scoping out who we're going to get in the playoffs, it seemed as if the Indianapolis Colts had an insurmountable lead on that 1 seed. We were even rooting for the Chiefs to beat the Colts because we're like, we want that 1 seed. Well, now Daniel Jones is out the rest of the season, and I think you could see a real world where the Indianapolis Colts don't even make the playoffs. So tough break there for them. And I think if we're talking about really the best bright spot of this game, it is RJ Harvey. Sean Payton told us this week, there's that saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. Well, I think we started to see it in this game, and I still think we ain't seen nothing yet. Guys, this is why we drafted him with the first pick in the draft as a generational running back. Oh, wait, that's what the Raiders thought they got in Ashton Jeanty. This is why Sean Payton wanted RJ Harvey more than Ashton Jeanty. Like, he just balled out of control, and I think this was really put the blueprint on this game, that at this point, the Broncos were going to have to punt on that first drive. We'd gone 10 straight games without having an opening drive touchdown, and RJ Harvey willed it out of him. He put the team on his back, shrugs off this open field hit. Like, I still can't believe it. It gives me chills to watch who wants this game more. And it is your Denver Broncos. And just seeing Even JK and is JK shaking off a dude like that? Sean Payton said, you ain't seen nothing yet, and we finally started to see it in this game, and you've got to absolutely love it. Zach Bai had a great point here that if you look up second effort on Wikipedia or in the dictionary, you're going to see an amazing picture of RJ Harvey, because that's exactly what he does each and every play of the game. And I just have to say here that looking at this Raiders defense, it's easy to be like, oh, we beat the Raiders. Why are we so hyped? This Raiders defense held the best rushing offense in football, the Chicago Bears, to 69 yards running the ball. We saw the Chicago Bears run all over the Philadelphia Eagles. They can run over anybody they want, and they held them to 69 yards running the ball. We broke it down this week. The Raiders have had an amazing game against the run. Well, how did the Broncos look running the ball today? Absolutely phenomenal. The Broncos had 152 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, about as perfectly balanced as you possibly could be. And they got it from a ton of guys. We had RJ Harvey 17 for 75, averaging 4 yards a clip. I'll take that all day. Adam Prentice getting the job done with that beautiful longest carry of his entire career. Jaleel showing up with 5 yards a carry. Bo Nix running when he needed to. And then seeing the end around with Marvin Mims that I think will be a lot more effective when you're not running that against Max Crosby. So my worry about this game going into it was like, do we need to go out and get Sincere McCormick, who we just had a workout with? No, because your Denver Broncos just ran 150 yards on the Vegas Raiders. Sean Payton feels confident in who he has, or he would have got that guy that the Houston Texans cut. There has never been a more exciting time to jump on the Denver Broncos bandwagon. And if you're not already there, this is your last shot. Hop aboard, because we got a ton to believe in. Let's go!